15 minutes past 8. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily, continuing our focus on the focus to bring back the abducted girls from Borno State, in Chibok specifically. Babatunde Gbadamosi joins us this morning to share his thoughts on this entire matter. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Frustrating for a lot of people, if not for many. That's what this is to us. But yes, we know a lot of people doing what they have to do, but you always will have some things that no matter what you do, people just think they just want these girls back. But you read so much about this, and where do you think we are in all of this? What's the issue for you, for instance, about this matter?
I find it really problematic that the authorities haven't deemed it fit at this stage to release pictures of the girls we're looking for, so that even if Boko Haram had decided to split up the girls, perhaps, wherever they might be, possibly hiding in plain sight, some people might identify them and we might begin to get some of the girls back. But as it is, we have to rely entirely on intelligence supplied by people who seem to be sympathizers of Boko Haram, some of them in positions of authority, to have some inkling of where the girls might be.
So that may suggest, and correct me if I'm wrong, that rather than us taking the bull by the horn, we have just let other people supplying information, and so many other people are running with what is supplied.
I believe so. I think that it will be much better. I mean, here in Lagos, we've had several incidences of sometimes children being abducted by kidnappers, mostly. And what's usually happened immediately is the parents have released the images of the children in question and perhaps posted them on BlackBerry messages and appeal to people to put them on their display picture so that the children can be found really quickly. And it's worked. It's worked most of the time. So I don't understand why we don't have some kind of collage of the pictures of the 234 now? 234 girls.
Do you think those who raise questions about all of this in terms of the authenticity or the exact actions and what we're doing, can we blame them for anything? Because some of these things that we consider natural, normal to do in response to this, just didn't seem to have happened at the time, like releasing those pictures and so many others.
Well, when people like Asari Dokubo make the statements that they make, that the abduction is a scam, you find it really difficult to blame them. Why? Considering the actions or inaction that has followed the abduction of the girls. I mean, the governor of the state went to London to look for borehole engineers, shortly after the abduction. In fact, at the time when a rumor had been put out that Mr. President was going to be visiting Chibok, and then promptly denied again by the rumor mongers that, he wasn't coming anymore. And that created a reason for them to go into a frenzy to say, he should have gone to Chibok. Why did he cancel? But he was never scheduled to go in the first place. But at the time he was supposed to have been going to Chibok, the governor of Borno State was in London searching for borehole engineers.
How do you know he was searching for borehole engineers?
Well, that's what he said on CNN.
No, I know one time he was quoted as saying that this whole issue is an issue that's tied to poverty and unemployment.
But he's the governor of the state, and in charge of the federal allocations accruing to that state. So if there are poverty issues, perhaps,
so looking for borehole engineers, is that not efforts to help to alleviate poverty?
I didn't realize that
providing water for them, for instance.
I didn't realize that we'd run completely out of borehole engineers in Nigeria, to the point where he had to go to London to look for the appropriate expertise there.
Oh, okay. Let's just move away from there. Look at the efforts being made by the security machinery to bring back these girls. What do you take of it?
It's the security agencies. I don't envy them at this point, because they're caught between a rock and a hard place. and the situation is very, very precarious, because if they go in all guns blazing, there's very likely to be unwanted collateral damage. That is, some of the girls could get injured. They could even die in the process of trying to rescue them. We saw what happened when there was an attempt to rescue some hostages that were held in the northern part of the constitution, foreign hostages, where they all died in the attempt to rescue them. So we must appreciate the onerous circumstances under which the security agencies are working and give them all the support that we can. I think they're doing their best at this stage, all things considered. And when I say all things considered, exactly, I'm also talking about the internal sabotage that appears to be going on. We hear of investigations of 9 generals, although that's still an allegation at this point, for selling weapons to Boko Haram. Now, if they were indeed selling weapons to Boko Haram, we don't know what else they were selling. Were they also selling intelligence? Were they selling information about troop movements? Were they selling troop deployment? That is to say, were Boko Haram giving them instructions as to how to deploy the troops and where to send them so that they could then be ambushed? Because there have been quite a number of ambushes by Boko Haram of our soldiers. The most recent being the one at Chibok, where we lost a number of senior officers. We really must appreciate the conditions under which they're working. And it's because of that infiltration that I've said in the past, I think I said it here on this station, that we might need to become extreme in the way we deal with the Boko Haram situation. And when I say extreme, I don't mean
you also
applying...
talked about collateral damage here.
I don't mean applying extreme violence. That's not what I mean. I mean extreme internal vetting of the security agencies, okay? The army, the police, the intelligence agencies, they need to be vetted properly. And mechanisms need to be put in place that may not be comfortable for some people and that some might find politically incorrect. But if that's what we need to do, then we must go ahead and do it. Certain categories of people may need to be excluded from combat zones. They may also need to be excluded from command positions, as well as security-sensitive positions.
For instance?
Well, I'm not going to go into that here in public. My position has been made known to the authorities privately, and I hope that they'll follow up on that. I really hope they will. Because
do you think
this is not the time to be politically correct.
So you think that attempt, trying to be politically correct, is inhibiting our progress?
I think it is, yes.